that first waft, the creamy sweetness of coconut rice,
Mhm.
then that sudden heat of sambal, that satisfying snap of peanuts and crispy anchovies. You've likely experienced nasi lemak.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a dish that really pops up across Southeast Asia, doesn't it? Like a delicious common thread.
Yeah, it does.
But today we're diving deep into why Malaysia has, well, so assertively claimed this beloved meal as its national dish.
Exactly. I mean, you'll find fantastic nasi lemak in Singapore, Indonesia, Brunei, definitely. It's, a source of regional culinary pride.
Uh-huh.
But what we're going to explore today is the specific sort of multifaceted argument Malaysia has built, how they established nasi lemak as uniquely and nationally theirs.
Okay.
So we'll be looking at its historical roots, how the government has actively positioned it, and how its status compares to similar dishes in neighboring countries.
Right.
Our mission really is to understand the layers behind a country claiming ownership of such a widely appreciated food.
Okay, so let's get right to those roots then. Because while the idea of cooking rice with coconut milk isn't, exclusive to Malaysia,
No, no, no.
it seems the specific assembly of flavors and ingredients we recognize as nasi lemak has a pretty strong case for originating there.
That's right, yeah. While coconut rice preparations exist elsewhere, the distinct combination that defines nasi lemak, fragrant rice infused with pandan and coconut milk,
Hmm.
that particular style of sambal, those crucial additions of ikan bilis, those little crispy anchovies.
Like the salty crunch.
Exactly, that savory counterpoint peanuts and often accompaniments like a boiled egg and cucumber.
Yeah.
This specific constellation of elements is what, well, culinary scholars tend to trace back to the Malay communities in present-day Malaysia.
And it's not just the ingredients themselves, is it? I mean, the name nasi lemak itself, that translates from Malay to fatty rice, doesn't it?
It does.
So that points directly to its linguistic and culinary origins within Malaysia.
Precisely. The very terminology is embedded right there in Malaysia's Malay language. And, there's more. Early 20th century British colonial records.
Okay.
Harper's research from 1999, for instance,
Okay.
documents nasi lemak as a fundamental part of the diet for Malay farmers. Harper looked at household economics back then
Ah, interesting.
and found nasi lemak wasn't just like a meal, but a really calorically dense and affordable option, crucial for the agricultural workforce.
Right.
So that economic underpinning, it really solidifies its everyday importance and how early it was present.
So this wasn't some fancy dish for special occasions. It was everyday fuel, basically,
Yeah.
for working people.
Exactly.
And we also have Mode's work from 2010, which also points to these agricultural communities, right, as its birthplace.
Yes, that research highlights it as an efficient, high-energy breakfast for farmers. Plus, that same work points to early 1900s British colonial writings as the earliest documented mentions of nasi lemak specifically as a staple within Malay cuisine.
Huh?
It really paints a picture of a dish deeply ingrained in Malaysian life from quite early on.
Yeah, it really does.
Absolutely. And we can't overlook the traditional preparation either, wrapping nasi lemak in banana leaves.
Oh, yeah, the aroma.
Right. It isn't just about the added aroma, though that's part of it. It's a long-standing practice that further emphasizes its authentic connection to the local environment and, the culinary traditions of Malaysia, and the consistent use of those distinctly local Malaysian ingredients, like the ikan bilis we mentioned.
Right, right. That all makes sense.
Is another key indicator.
Okay, so the historical roots seem pretty firmly planted in Malaysia. But how did it transition from being, well, a staple dish to a national symbol? That feels like a more deliberate process.
You absolutely hit on a crucial point there. Since Malaysia achieved independence in 1957, the government has quite actively promoted nasi lemak as a central element of national identity.
Actively?
Yes, this hasn't been a passive development at all. It's been a conscious effort in, well, nation building.
And that effort really solidified in 2017, didn't it? I remember reading about the Malaysian Ministry of Tourism officially declaring nasi lemak as the national dish. That's a pretty powerful statement.
It is indeed
Ah.
very powerful. And it clearly demonstrates the state's active role in cementing this culinary claim, really aiming to strengthen that shared sense of cultural identity among Malaysians.
Uh-huh.
And this wasn't just, a symbolic gesture. It was often tied into campaigns highlighting all the diverse regional variations within Malaysia,
Oh, interesting.
which subtly emphasizes its unifying presence across different communities.
Mm.
But it goes beyond just official declarations. Think about where Nasi Lemak pops up in Malaysian society.
Well, yeah, it seems like everywhere. School textbooks, national narratives, public celebrations.
Hmm.
It's easy to see how a shared culinary experience like that can connect people.
Exactly. There's research like Ichicho and Ranta's work in 2016 that explores how food becomes deeply embedded in these national narratives. It evolves into something, far more significant than just sustenance.
Right.
Nasi Lemak's consistent presence at government functions, its prominent featuring in those vibrant Malaysia, truly Asia tourism campaigns.
Oh, yeah, those are famous.
Right. It all reinforces this national branding, both for people inside Malaysia and internationally. Think of it like, well, like a country using food as a way to say, this is who we are.
Yeah, this tastes like us.
Kinda, yeah. Both to their own people and to the rest of the world.
It's fascinating, though, to see how Malaysia has positioned Nasi Lemak, especially when you compare it to its neighbors. Because, like we said at the start, it's not like Malaysia's the only place where it's enjoyed.
Definitely not.
So what's the situation in, say, Singapore or Indonesia?
That comparative lens is vital, you're right. In Singapore, okay, Nasi Lemak is incredibly popular. It's everywhere. But the National Heritage Board, back in 2020, they classify it as part of the broader category of Malay cuisine.
Ah, okay. So part of the mix.
Exactly. Part of Singapore's rich, multicultural food landscape. It doesn't hold that unique, singular national dish designation there.
And Singapore has other strong contenders for a national dish, right? Like dishes like chicken rice and laksa immediately come to my mind.
Precisely, yeah. Chua's research from 2015 really delves into Singapore's multicultural culinary scene, where Nasi Lemak basically shares the spotlight.
Yeah.
It's alongside other iconic dishes that are often seen as, equally representative of the nation's culinary identity.
So no single frontrunner like in Malaysia.
Not in the same way, no. There isn't that same singular focus on Nasi Lemak as the unifying national symbol.
Okay. And what about Indonesia? They have such an incredible variety of rice dishes anyway.
Oh, absolutely. Indonesia, with its huge archipelago and incredibly diverse culinary traditions, they boast numerous regional rice dishes. There's the dish quite similar to Nasi Lemak, actually, called nasi uduk.
Nasi uduk, right?
Yeah, and it's strongly associated with the Betawi culture of Jakarta. Suryanada's research back in 2015 highlights that while Nasi Lemak is certainly enjoyed in Indonesia, it's it's one among many rice-based meals.
Just another dish in the crowd,
In
almost.
terms of national symbolism, yeah, it doesn't carry the same level of national symbolic weight that it clearly does in Malaysia.
It really sounds like Malaysia has carved out a unique symbolic space for Nasi Lemak within its national identity in a way that its neighbors just haven't.
That seems to be the case.
And this extends to the international arena as well, doesn't it? I think I recall reading something about Malaysia's efforts to have it recognized by UNESCO.
Yes, that's right. Malaysia has indeed made efforts to include Nasi Lemak in its UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage submissions. The reporting on this, like from the start in 2021, shows the core argument is that Nasi Lemak plays a significant role in fostering national unity within Malaysia.
So it's about unity.
Exactly. The
Right.
Malaysian submission likely detailed not just the ingredients, but also the communal practices around making it, eating it, arguing that the shared traditions are vital to Malaysian cultural heritage and social cohesion.
And the neighbors haven't done that.
It's notable, yeah.
Hmm.
Neighboring countries haven't pursued similar UNESCO claims specifically for Nasi Lemak.
Interesting. And then you also have the role played by the Malaysian diaspora, right? Like we see prominent chefs. Chef Wan comes to mind.
Oh, absolutely. Chef Wan is a great example.
Actively championing Nasi Lemak globally as distinctly Malaysian.
Yes. Wilson's research from 2018 emphasizes exactly that, how the Malaysian diaspora and these influential culinary figures have been really instrumental in popularizing Nasi Lemak on the global stage, specifically identifying it as a Malaysian dish.
Right.
It reinforces Malaysia's national claim in the eyes of the world. And think back again to those Malaysia Truly Asia tourism campaigns.
Yeah, it's always there.
Nasi Lemak is frequently featured prominently,
Yeah.
really solidifying that association for international audiences.
It really seems like all these factors, you've got the deep historical roots specifically in Malaysia, the active backing of the government, the lack of a single similarly unifying dish in neighboring countries, and this consistent global promotion, it all feeds into this idea of culinary nationalism.
Precisely. Yeah, that term fits perfectly. D'Soucy's concept from 2010, the culinary nationalism process, it provides a really valuable framework for understanding what's happening here.
Okay.
It's about how food traditions become intricately linked with national identity
Yeah.
how they're used as a tool for cultural diplomacy and as a way to cultivate a sense of shared unity within a nation.
And Malaysia's actions fit that model.
Very neatly, yes.
Yeah.
Their actions surrounding Nasi Lemak fit right into this framework.
So when we put it all together, it's clear that Malaysia's claim over Nasi Lemak isn't simply because Malaysians happen to love it.
Which they clearly do.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's a much more complex narrative, isn't it? It involves these deep historical connections, specifically within Malaysia, a deliberate and sustained effort by the government to elevate it as a national symbol.
Uh-huh.
The unique position it holds because there isn't another single dish that unifies the country in quite the same way, and then this consistent strategy to brand it as Malaysian on the global stage.
That's a very insightful summary. I think you've captured it well. Malaysia's claim isn't solely about, like, exclusivity, because, let's face it, food traditions often cross borders.
Sure, they always do.
But rather, it's built on this unique convergence of historical grounding, proactive institutional support, and its really powerful symbolic significance within the Malaysian nation.
So the next time you, our listener, enjoy a plate of nasi lemak, it's worth remembering that for Malaysia, it's far more than just a delicious meal.
Yep.
It's a tangible representation of their national identity.
Indeed. While that fragrant coconut rice and that spicy sambal are enjoyed right across the region, their significance as a national identity marker is particularly strong and deeply embedded within Malaysia's cultural and political landscape.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Consider other foods that different countries have laid claim to, or maybe even foods that hold a special significance for your own personal or community identity.
Good point.
What are the underlying factors that contribute to that sense of ownership and belonging? What does the food you cherish say about who you are and where you come from? Definitely something to ponder.